that there's an expanding universe because of the redshift of the stars and whatnot, yeah? Mm-hmm. This indicates that there was a singular beginning, and that's the Big Bang Theory, isn't it?
I wouldn't go that far. It indicates that things are separating from one another at a quantifiable rate, but that doesn't necessarily prove the existence of a beginning or end. It just proves the evidence you can see before you, which is that there is that redshift and there is some separation. But to jump from that and say that proves the Big Bang Theory is a large leap.
No, that's well, hold on. No. Look, think of it this way. Let me put it like in a scientific example that I'm sure they teach the kids in school. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that but like this is.
I understand, but they do teach the kids in school.
Yeah. So basically, you know when you have the balloon, or a balloon, and you blow a balloon. Now, if you blow up a balloon, it obviously all the edges of the balloon are touching each other in the first instance, yeah.
When the balloon is unfilled?
Yes, unfilled.
No, not all of the edges. I'm sure there are some where they separate by a little bit.
Okay, I'm giving you.
For the sake of the example.
Okay,
sure.
Come on.
Infinitely contracting balloon.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Now you blow up the balloon.
Yep. It's very demonstrative. Yeah. Now you have a balloon. Now the balloon was expanding. Yeah. If you have an expanding balloon like that. It means it had one point. From balloons to say that the universe has to have had a Big Bang in order to be expanding, are you?
This is not my argument. This is how they explained to me when I was a boy in school in this country, my friend. Yeah. I mean, it's how my atheist science teacher explained to me in GCSE science.
Young enough to tell you that
I'm sure you were explained in a similar way. They explained that's how they explain the Big Bang model and they explain the expanding universe.
That's a bad teacher. Okay. Let's.
Yes.
I don't want us to get lost in group discussion.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
So. Wow. That guy's popular. So you have the expanding balloon.
See, look. Can I say something? Yeah. Sorry to say this, but some people they say that the Canadians don't have a sense of humor.
They're not correct. Maybe some of us. I don't know.
You've heard this before, yeah? I'm sure. I mean.
I've never heard that, but I live in the place, so I wouldn't know.
No. Some say that, but today I think you've given us evidence that we can put into our probability generator to.
Yeah, I would say I would be some evidence in favor of there being humor in Canada.
Yeah. Go. Tell me now.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, no doubt here.
Sure.
The Big Bang model.
On the balloon to make it expand.
The balloon had a starting point. Yeah, had a singular point. This is the Big Bang Theory. This is the Big Bang, and then it all expanded. That's the Big Bang Theory.
It's not the Big Bang Theory for this one reason. The Big Bang Theory does not in any way mention or try to prove the existence of an external force acting on the beginning of the universe. The furthest that we've really gone.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm not.
So in your example,
Max,
there's you standing there blowing into a balloon, and also there's something outside the balloon. There's the room that you're in.
Thank you.
Now neither one of those things is part of the Big Bang Theory. There is no
Accepted.
externality to the universe.
Accepted.
There is no force acting.
No, the no externality of the universe is not it's not something you can say. It's something you can only be agnostic about. Yeah?
Because we're inside the universe.
Thank you. Yeah. The whole thing about force, once again, it's only something we can be either agnostic or assured about. But you cannot negative.
Assured about it.
Well, if you have, what I'm going to say right now, evidences or your probability reasoning suggests that, listen, going back to the fine tuning, that couldn't be that this finely tuned universe is a result of a random generation.
Why not?
Okay, tell me now. What's the probability of it being the case? Let me ask you a direct question. What is the probability, now that we've gotten rid of infinity, what is the probability that the universe could have come about out of a as finely tuned as it is in terms of physical constants, without the existence of an intelligence? Randomly. Tell me the answer.
I suppose it depends on your model a little bit, right? Because we could talk about one of two things. Like, what percentage of the universe is habitable, or what is the probability that all
we had this discussion before, Max.
The universe interacting could result in the conditions for life?
Max, we had this discussion before.
Yeah, I know.
So let's not go back, because we said already, so long as any part of the universe has life in it, then we can firmly.
The whole thing is quote unquote finely tuned for life.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I have a little trouble with that language because I mean, finely tuned, like.
Well, that's the language the atheists use.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. To answer your question in the way that you want me to.
No, I don't want you. Just the way you want to.
Okay. But also the truth. It's
Yes.
very small. It took an incredibly long time for the conditions for life to arise.
Would it be 1% or less than 1%?
Oh, far less than 1.
Far less than 1%. So okay, now please, Max, Here is the crossroads. We're standing at the junction, Max.
Right,
okay?
yeah.
No, seriously. No, this is it. And for all the atheists that are watching this, please ponder. Okay? Please ponder. You started off by saying that your method of conceptualizing truth and false is a probabilistic method. I have just asked you, what is the possibility of the universe coming about random? Pardon?
Do you always need to review this much for your audience?
It's always good to. What is the probability that the universe came about randomly without an intelligence? And you said far less than 1%, which would suggest that.
May I ask you,
let me just.
return?
Yes, of course. Let me just finish that. Yes,
right.
that would suggest that over 99, probably 0.9 recurring percent of the probability is in line with the idea that there's an intelligent force.
No.
Okay, now tell me.
Massive logic leap, dude. You can't
No,
do
it's
that.
not. Now tell me, no, hold on. Because the question I asked you, hold on, Max. The question I asked you is that if we're assuming there is no intelligence, what's the probability? And it's all random. You said less than 1%. So that would suggest that if there is an intelligence, that is 0.1% or 99.9% the case. Do you get it? It makes perfect sense. Now tell me why it's a logical leap.
Just adding, even in statistics, when you draw out a tree diagram, so if something is 1%, the other bit has to be 99, and then it spreads out from that's 5%, you work out that 1%.
I like this. Good. Nice contribution. Jazak Allah Khair. What's your name, brother?
Now, here's how I dismantle your theory. We are standing in the universe where the conditions for life arose.
Yeah.
So there may be a probabilistic argument to be made that there might have been, an intelligent designer that created the conditions for life, maybe. But we are standing in one in which they did evolve randomly.
So now you're talking about the Anthropic principle, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, do you know, even, to be honest with you, yeah? Even Richard Dawkins, you can go online and check Richard Dawkins, yeah? Actually, I'll take that back. Don't check him out, but check him out on this issue, yeah? Right, Richard Dawkins' Anthropic
Check all this
principle.
stuff out, it's good.
Richard Dawkins' Anthropic principle, yeah? He himself, he's not in favor of a strong Anthropic principle. He said that the idea that you can make the argument that you've just made here, philosophically, and he's not really a philosopher really, it's a weak one. Why? And this is the old-fashioned example, yeah? Of someone, let's say for example, a group of people, a group of police officers, they run after you because maybe you've been a bad guy in Canada or something like that, yeah? You're a serial killer and they put you up against the wall. And then they all shoot you like this with a gun. All of them are shooting at you, maybe at 1 feet distance. All of them are shooting at you, yeah? And then at the end of it, you close your eyes. And then you open your eyes, Max. And you look behind you, Max, and you realize that all the bullets literally were around your body, like that. And you say, look, man. You say, the reason why the bullets didn't hit me is because the bullets didn't hit me. And therefore, the fact that I'm here is proof that the bullets didn't hit me. This is the example of a cyclical argument. It's so weak that even your I'm not saying yours, but atheistic proponents don't even make this argument. It's so weak that you should literally put it into the philosophical dustbin. You know the philosophical dustbin. You open up, say, listen, man, this argument, chuck it in there.
Yeah, fair. I guess an idea.
That's one of the failures. You can't throw, still you have to question it more. You can't throw one to favor one. That's a bit.
I want your answer for this. Thank you for that contribution. Yes.
My answer to what? Whether or not we should.
No. We're using probability.
Okay.
We are using probability.
Right. So,
you've used the Anthropic principle. We put it into the dustbin. Now what are we going to do?
You said that I could ask you a question in return.
Of course, Max.
All right.
Of course.
So in an evidence-based fashion, what is the probability that this universe has been created by something external to it? And how can you possibly know that as someone from within the universe? Because as you acknowledged yourself earlier on, if you're inside the universe, you can have no knowledge of anything outside of it. So how it is that you presume knowledge that there is an intelligent creator?
Say the question. Make the question clear again. So go on. Because these are two questions, yeah? Let me just make sure. Sorry.
You stated that as a being existing inside the universe,
yes,
you can have no knowledge of anything outside of it.
No knowledge.
No, you did. Yeah,
you can have no knowledge.
If you're inside the room, you can't know about the room, right?
Yeah,
you
okay.
Agreed. If we're inside the universe, we can't know about anything.
You can have limited knowledge using empiricism.
So I understand your probabilistic argument
Max, can I just make one qualification?
All right.
You can have limited knowledge using empiricism because we're not able to perform the scientific method outside the universe because we're just simply not there. But I would maintain that using logical methods of deduction, induction, abduction, you can come to conclusions about that which is outside of the universe. Just to be clear. Go ahead.
I don't know that I fully accept that. But
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, because we're within the universe, right? So
Yeah, so what? What does that show? What does that, who cares?
so we can theorize about things outside of it, but coming to conclusions about things outside of it is a bit presumptuous, don't you think?
No. I think that based on the evidences of what's inside, you can make conclusions and deductions about that which must be outside.
Okay. Well, I'll admit this. I haven't eaten since breakfast, and I did make a mistake there. I allowed you to trap me in the probabilistic argument, so kudos for that. But I will now ask you my question. What evidence do you have to support the existence of your God that doesn't come from a tome, something written down by other human beings? What evidence do you have?
I have not spoken about any
here
book.
now? I know. But you have a belief system that comes from somewhere, and I can fairly confidently assert that you didn't just generate it yourself. Would that be fair to say?
I would say, listen.
Because if so, you're committing to being part of a belief system that no one else here is.
Listen, I'm just saying, you told me here now something about a book or something, yeah? I've not mentioned one religion, nor Christianity or Islam or Judaism or Hinduism.
Just the probability of intelligent design, right? That's where you're driving.
I'm just talking about some physical realities, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know why you've made that point, that red herring, or that straw man argument. And as you've mentioned before,
Straw man.
of course it's a straw man. Do you know what a straw man is? Okay, a straw man is when you cannot.
Comparison.
Okay, you've admitted, and sorry to put you in the spot like this, but you've admitted that I trapped you in the probabilistic argument, yeah? But why should it be a trap? Why don't you just accept the conclusions that we've reached?
So here's something that I did say, and it is on the record.
Yes.
So I can check if you like.
Go on, Max.
I said that in reality, my belief system is based on two things: probability and evidence.
Sorry, do you mind if I answer this
Yeah, I do actually.
Because this guy's been
No, I
put.
mind.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, Max.
Well, it's all right, man. But if you want to do this and put me in front of your camera, then you got to stay on message.
You're right. No, yeah, you're right.
So, probability and evidence, right? So you're right that it is incredibly unlikely that the conditions for life would arise, and yet they seem to. And you can make an argument that that might be seen as evidence for the possibility of an external force acting, right?
That's what I've just done.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this then.
Yes, sir.
You believe in some force that is active externally on our universe to create life, do you? Yes,
Some
no?
force.
Yeah, a force.
That is what?
You believe in a force that acted external from us onto our universe to create life, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so do you think that force is sort of an ethereal, all-encompassing force, or is it more specific? Does it have more concern with, say, the inhabitants of Earth and the inhabitants of other planets?
Well, these issues to do with my philosophical preferences have nothing to do with the existence or non-existence of the force. So if you're saying, do I believe in the force, we have to presuppose the existence of the force. So before we talk about what I believe the force's interaction...
That's not necessarily true.
No, but Max, one thing at a time.
That concretely doesn't exist.
Max, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
If you are happy to continue assuming that there is a force, then I'll continue telling you about the qualities of the force and the logical reason why these qualities must exist within the force. But if you don't accept the force, then it's talking about something which does not exist.
Yeah.
So here, my question to you is, based on the evidences that we've looked at, based on mathematical models and probability theory and all these different things that we've talked about today, based on your own standards of truth, will you now accept that it's more probable than not that there was an intelligence behind the creation of the universe?
No, I don't think that I would.
Pardon?
No, I don't think that I would.
Okay, now that is a contradiction.
Where, you could look at the universe as basically like a sandbox full of marbles, right? Like one of those things you can kind of shake and agitate the marbles. And from what we know about the combinations of chemicals that can form into molecules from component atoms, or even smaller down to like quarks and those sorts of things, right? They're really ultra tiny components of the physical world. Random interaction in a theoretically infinite, but even if it's not infinite, a very vast universe will produce chemical reactions just by atoms colliding over time, right? Do you accept that?
Say that.
Sorry, those guys are laughing. So, do you accept that in even a very large universe, let's put infinity aside for a second because that seems to be a contentious issue.
When you talk about, are you talking about time? Large in terms of quantifiable space or time or both or what?
Let's say both.
Okay, no problem. Because we do live in a very big universe. I mean.
Yeah. So let's say it's just very big and not infinite, just for the sake of fun.
Okay.
And that it contains a very large number of component parts, right? And they all interact randomly. And so over time, many meaningless interactions occur, the kind that just turn into a little bit of heat or a little bit of light, or just don't do anything at all. Two atoms collide and they go boink because they're not chemically compatible, right? But over time, some of them will combine into more complex molecules. Now, those molecules will fly around randomly, and again, the great majority of those collisions are going to result in nothing. But some of them will result in something, and through that increasing complexity over time, you could arrive at the necessary conditions for life without an intelligent external force acting on the universe.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Can I just say,
Yes.
You've actually inserted a law by doing that. You know, when you said when they combine and some of them react.
Yeah.
How do you know this is light? How do you know this is heat? How do you know when they combine? You've actually inserted laws. So what you're trying to do is...
No, I can answer that. So
the
laws that I've inserted into my argument are ones that are based on the body of scientific research that we've done so far. So like I said earlier, I cannot tell you with 100% certainty that when you apply ink to a letter and press it into this page, it's going to make a letter. It's very likely, and it's a reliable business. I would have no problem starting up a printing press tomorrow and making books, because I'm pretty damn certain that every time I try to make a book, I'm going to come out with a book. But it is possible that every once in a while it's going to explode. And I can't tell you with 100% certainty that it's not. So those physical laws that I'm talking about are physical laws that are very well supported by all kinds of things. Like most of us have a smartphone in our pocket. Its operations are based on our understanding of the physical laws. Do they sometimes go wrong? Do we have battery fires? Yes, but most of the times the batteries just charge and release energy as they're designed to. So you're right. I did insert some physical laws, but they're very well supported. And by all means, if you can disprove gravity the availability of carbon to bond with oxygen, then do it.
The only thing we really want to do is say that these laws are not random.
Where did the laws come from? That's a good question. Where did the laws actually come from? Did the laws? Where did the laws come from? Yeah, where did the laws come from?
We don't have absolute knowledge of where they came from.
Let him answer, please.
It's presumptuous.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said because of the.
Beyond your understanding.
Guys, if you want to debate, you got to do it off camera or later. Not that I don't want to hear what you have to say. I do. But...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so laws based on experimentation. Where did they come from? We don't know, but we don't know one way or the other. Like both sides of this debate are in the dark as far as that's concerned. You can't say with certainty it was an intelligent designer.
I'm saying
I can't say with certainty.
You can't say.
I want to be clear. It's very likely that wasn't the case, but I cannot say with 100% certainty. What?
Max. This. Max, no.
All right.
No. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Philosophically.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Philosophically, there is nothing in the whole of philosophy which you can say is incorrigible completely, which means, you know what incorrigible means. Number two, that you could say could be said absolutely with certainty. Yeah, okay.
It's all based on likelihood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is why.
Back to the probability
Thank you.
Everything's probability.
Everything is probability. Now, that is why everything is faith. That's the thing is about atheists and agnostics is that they presuppose that religious people are the only ones who have faith, so they can make themselves feel good about themselves, self-aggrandize in a narcissistic type way, pointing the finger of blame at the backward. I'm not saying that's what you do.
Yeah, sure.
But the backward religious
I said
type.
agnostic earlier, so you remember that point.
Not you. I'm not making this point.
Those other
but because those other atheists that say, look, you guys believe in the fairy tales of the old and you have no evidences and you have faith and blind faith at that. This is a disingenuous philosophical position. Everyone has some kind of faith. We base the faith on probabilistic type reasoning. Yeah. Today I've shown you and you've come to a conclusion almost, but I don't know why you're not admitting it.
The reason is this.
That the universe is probabilistically more likely to come from an intelligence.
That has ever been run so far, and again, open to being proved wrong. There's no experiment that's been run so far that has proved in any way the acting of a cosmic force upon everything on Earth.
This is not the condition you set for us. Let me hold on. Oh, sorry. You have not said in the beginning of this discussion that your standard is a scientific empirical standard.
Yeah.
You have not said that. Even that's a weaker standard, the probabilistic standard. Because if you use that standard, you can't even prove the existence of mathematics.
Do you feel confident getting on a bus? That it's going to roll forward when the driver presses on the gas pedal?
Listen, this is what you're saying here has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
No,
I'm saying
that's a lot to do with
No, hold on. I'm saying that you have said in the beginning of this discussion.
It's a probabilistic argument, and I congratulated you on trapping
me.
No,
no problem. I'm not trying to trap you, Max. I'm just trying to show you that.
You are. For your audience's sake, you are.
Listen, if that's how
a spade is spade.
Okay, look.
This is about you demonstrating to your audience that theism is a more concretely demonstrable reality than atheism.
I think that's part of it. But you know what?
Part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on, that's why you're here.
Probably that's the majority of the reason.
That's the bulk.
Yeah, okay, I take that. I'll not only demonstrate to the audience, but to the interlocutor as well. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So here, I'm saying to you, it seems like you call it a trap. I don't know why you call it. Why are you calling it a trap?
Because it was a well-constructed argument, and I didn't think before I spoke, and therefore you got me into a position where I had to admit.
Do you know?
Intelligent design was low.
Max.
But I don't accept that as adequate proof of the existence of a designer.
Fine. I will leave it as that. You know why I will leave it as that?
What's that?
Because I personally believe you have contradicted your own truth standard. You've almost said that there's 99% possibility, 99.9 recurring percent of possibility, that the universe came out not as a result of randomness, which would necessitate non-randomness, which would necessitate a force.
By the very nature of probability, everything that has a representative number tied to it, right? Like every chance could occur, right? So by your own model, although it's
if you have the existence of infinity only, which we talked about before, we don't want to go around in circles.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Okay. Max.
So yeah.
Do you want to keep it?
I did say no. I did say that it's less than a 1% chance, right?
Yeah.
But what you need to do in order for this to be a very concretely convincing presentation and not just like a semi-weak one, is you need to then follow up on that and say, and this is why I know that we are not living in the percentile where this did occur randomly. Because so far all you've done is prove that both are possible, and I accept that. I mean, I'd be a fool not to.
No, I haven't showed you that. I've showed you that the universe has a 99.9 recurring percent chance of not coming about randomly, which would necessitate that it has to have come about non-randomly, which would necessitate a organized force. And you're saying that you don't want to believe that. So this is I personally believe, is intellectual dishonesty. Because that was your own standard.
Yeah.
But and that's why you call it a trap. But why call it a trap? It's not a trap. You're in a trap.
I think I did actually. Let's back up a step.
I believe that much. 99% is not easy number.
Hang on.
What makes you believe that?
Hang on. Just 1 second. I realized I made a mistake.
Okay.
In an infinite universe. No, I'm fine. Fuck it. You want to end this thing?
Okay. Listen, Max. I think the best thing to do is me and you have a conversation off cameras, because I think there's a feeling that we're doing it for the sake of the audience. So we'll do it maybe.
Well, let me just dismantle that really quick.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a bunch of cameras if you weren't doing it for the sake of an audience. So
I'm doing it for the sake. I'm doing it for the sake of the audience. Yeah. I want the audience to be acquainted with the arguments, and I want an interlocutor to provide the devil's advocate position. And you've done a good job in doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that if you want to do it afterwards as well, we can do it afterwards as well.
I may.
All right, we'll talk about it. You're invited to dinner. We're going to break our fast after.
All right, you're up, buddy.
It's yours. That one is. Sorry.